Welcome to Hidden Horizons, the channel where we uncover the most fascinating and overlooked stories from world history. Here, each episode is an invitation to step quietly into the mysteries of the past, guided by gentle narration and a spirit of discovery. If these journeys ignite your curiosity, please like and subscribe to help us continue exploring the secrets that time has left behind. In this video, we journey beneath the burning sands of the Sahara to reveal the rise and fall of ancient cities lost to time. You'll learn how shifting climate shaped mighty societies that once thrived where there are now only dunes and silence. Join us as we search for the forgotten worlds hidden beneath the vast desert's timeless embrace. Chapter 1: Shadows over Sand. The story unfolds with a sweeping panorama across the Sahara Sea of golden dunes stretching beyond the horizon, sunlit and quiet. It's a landscape that feels eternal, but below the sands, whispers of another age stir. Here, every grain of sand tells tales of lost rivers, ancient homes, and the hidden wonders that once shaped these plains. Beneath the relentless sun, shadows stretch across the Sahara. The wind carries memories, echoes of waters that once glittered where only salt and dust linger now. Millennia ago, this vast expanse was not an empty desert, but a realm where grasslands danced with herds and lakes shimmered blue beneath the sky, a cradle of life, now veiled in silence. Imagine a different Africa, not ruled by sand, but alive with green savannas and sprawling lakes teeming with life. Herds of ancient animals drifted across open plains, while birds traced wide arcs over shining waters. People thrived along these shores, their stories woven into earth and stone, their lives a quiet pulse beneath these now quiet dunes. Over countless generations, rains blessed this land. Rivers carved winding paths through grass and woodland, feeding great lakes that shimmered beneath warm sunlight. Nomads and villagers built their homes here. Their laughter and songs once drifted across meadows now swallowed by silence, their footsteps lost beneath the endless march of sand. Yet the desert was always waiting. Slowly, patiently, the rain faded and green retreated under the advance of gold. Lakes shrank and forests withered. People watched the world change. They adapted, wandered, remembered. But the old abundance faded, and the Sahara's hungry breath swept ever wider, carrying away the voices of those who came before. What secrets lie hidden beneath these shifting seas of sand? Stones that mark the remnants of vanished cities, the shattered bones of once mighty creatures, the carved tools left behind by ancient hands. Each relic holds a fragment of a world lost to memory, waiting for rediscovery as the wind uncovers their silent testimony. To walk these dunes is to trace the quiet passage of time. Every ripple in the sand hints at an ancient flood, every exposed stone a monument to voices long gone. The Sahara conceals more than emptiness, it holds the memory of civilizations and the promise that their stories are still waiting to be heard just beneath our feet. As our journey into the heart of the ancient Sahara begins, let your mind wander across these sun-baked landscapes. Imagine lost rivers flowing, great cities rising from green hills, and people building lives in a world now swallowed by silence. Together, we'll uncover how nature's slow transformation can erase even the most powerful societies from memory. Chapter 2: The Green Sahara's Secret. Journey with us tens of thousands of years into the past, as North Africa unveils a very different face. Imagine a land painted in vibrant greens, where vast grasslands stretch as far as the eye can see. Gentle rivers meander across valleys, and lakes shimmer beneath ancient skies. This was the Sahara before it became a desert, a place teeming with possibility and life. As we explore this forgotten landscape, picture early humans thriving in harmony with their surroundings. Communities gather along lush waterways, their lives woven into the rhythm of the rains. Herds of antelope graze across verdant plains, watched closely by skilled hunters moving silently through tall grass. The air is fresh, filled with birdsong and the distant calls of wild animals, painting an unexpected portrait of North Africa. A gentle rain falls, soaking the fertile soil and awakening hidden seeds below the surface. From this transformation, life blooms across the land. Trees line the riverbanks, and wildflowers dot the earth in splashes of colour. The early people of the Green Sahara adapt to these cycles, their days governed by the abundance brought by the monsoon rains. Each season is a new chapter in this ancient paradise. The story of the Green Sahara is more than one of survival. It is a tale of flourishing. People fashion tools from polished stones, carve symbols onto bone, and craft vessels for grain and water. They leave behind delicate engravings on cave walls, illustrating animals and stories from a time when the land provided everything they needed. These reminders whisper to us from beneath centuries of sand. Families gather around fires at dusk, sharing tales of the world beyond their villages. Children listen closely, learning of distant lakes and grazing lands that stretch farther than any of them have roamed. The night air carries echoes of laughter and wisdom, blending with the soothing sounds of frogs and crickets. Under a vast, starlit sky, life in the Green Sahara unfolds with gentle wonder. The abundance of water shapes the rhythms of every living thing. Migrating birds find rest at peaceful oases, while fish dart among reeds in crystal-clear streams. Mighty herds of wild cattle roam the plains with gazelle, their movements silently tracked by patient hunters. This landscape, once blanketed in green, offers a glimpse into a forgotten paradisea, memory almost erased by shifting sands. Artifacts discovered by archaeologists tell the story of a people deeply connected to the land. Carefully carved tools and painted pottery speak of skill, while burial mounds hint at traditions and beliefs long vanished. Each find adds another piece to the puzzle, challenging our understanding of what the Sahara once was, a realm alive with ingenuity, culture, and enduring spirit. Imagine standing at the edge of a tranquil lake in the heart of the Sahara, surrounded by leafy trees and the chorus of insects at dusk. The gentle breeze ripples across the water, carrying the sweet scent of wild grasses. Every sense is alive in this lost world. For ancient people, these waterways offered not just sustenance, but places of gathering, celebration, and mythology, rich with meaning. Yet even paradise is shaped by change. Slowly, the reliable rains begin to falter, and green expanses shrink. Rivers dry to trickles, and lakes recede from their ancient banks. Communities adapt as best they can, moving closer to surviving waters. Still, memories of the lush world persist, passed down in stories of a time when the Sahara blossomed under gentle rains. The Green Sahara's secret lies buried beneath endless dunes, waiting to be uncovered by those curious enough to listen. As we journey further, we will trace how shifts in climate over thousands of years wrote new destinies for these ancient people. The land that once held a forgotten paradise still whispers its tale, urging us to remember and to wonder what else lies unseen beneath the sands. Chapter 3. Settlements on the Edge. Along the shifting banks of long-vanished rivers, ancient societies gathered wherever water cradled the land. Quiet evidence remains a scrap of carved bone, a faded painting on a stony wall, a circle of stones that once framed someone's home. We step softly in their footsteps, listening to what their tools, shelters and art reveal about life carved from the very edge of survival. Imagine communities thriving in a place where rain was both a blessing and a memory. People adapted to this ever-changing environment, reading the sky for hints of storms, shaping their days to the rhythms of river and sand. With reverence, we gaze at the rock art they left behind, each marking a story or perhaps a prayer etched into stone, surviving where spoken words have long vanished into wind and dust. We see remnants of tools fashioned from bone, flint, and clay testimony to resourcefulness born of necessity. Some were used for hunting, others likely for daily tasks, grinding, weaving, or even rituals. Each piece links us to minds that solve the same puzzles of food and shelter that challenge us now, bridging centuries through ingenuity. It is here, on these tough lands, that resilience became a craft, handed down in stone and silence. Dwellings huddled close together offered not just shelter, but a sense of community, connection, and perhaps warmth against the desert's chill. Within these clustered homes, laughter, stories, and daily life echoed off earthen walls. Children played near hearths, elders taught wisdom earned from the land. Even as the world beyond grew harsher, ties between people seemed to grow stronger, drawn close by necessity and hope. Rock art sprawled across canyon faces, revealing scenes of animals, people, and inexplicable symbols. Each brush of pigment was a connection between generations, between the known and unknown. We can almost see families gathered to watch artists work, sharing tales around flickering firelight, immortalizing memories of the hunt, the flood, or seasons of abundance. These paintings shimmer with the imagination and longing of vanished storytellers. As the climate slowly shifted, many rivers dried and grasslands receded. These ancient societies adapted again, migrating toward reliable springs or underground wells. Some learned to store water, others shaped new tools or sought refuge in caves. Each adaptation left its mark a new type of pottery, an altered path winding through the sand. Change here was not a choice, but a necessity for survival, as hope ebbed and flowed like rain. We pause and wonder, what did these people dream when the world around them was green and full of promise? Did they fear the creeping hand of drought, or did they think only of the next day's harvest, the next night's stories? Love, ambition, joy and sorrow must have moved through their hearts as surely as they do in ours today. Their everyday emotions echo faintly through time, calling out from rock, tool and ruin. Tools for hunting speak of shared meals and communal effort, while fine jewellery and decorated pottery hint at celebrations, at moments set apart from struggle. The social fabric held tight, woven from shared labour and ritual. Each artefact preserves a glimpse, the pride of a skilled craftsman, the sparkle of a festival, sorrow at a long drought. Even now, these echoes remind us life persisted and creativity thrived against the odds. As centuries passed, the settlements faced challenges that would test any civilization: shrinking water, harsher winds and shifting loyalties. Yet, for generation after generation, people found ways to adapt and endure. Some changed how they built their homes, others how they found food or shared resources, resilience that carried them through in cycles of hardship and hope. Their legacy is written not only in what survived, but in the determination that shaped their days. Today, as we explore these silent ruins, we contemplate the heartbeat of lost communities that once thrived where only sand now stretches. Their rock art, buried tools and vanished homes whisper stories of adaptation, ingenuity and spirit. The desert has swallowed much, but the memory of those early settlements endures, urging us to reflect on the delicate balance that shapes all human life, even on the very edge of survival. Chapter 4. The Rise of Lost Cities. As dawn breaks over the dunes, remember there was a time when lively cities flourished where the endless sands stretch now. In this chapter, we set out to meet these ancient urban hearts. Although the desert holds its secrets close, traces still linger, foundations, crumbling walls, and forgotten highways. Each grain of sand whispers about lives lived with ambition, faith, and resilience beneath the hot sun. Chapter 4. The Rise of Lost Cities. Merchants from distant lands once navigated these buried boulevards, exchanging silks, spices, beads, and knowledge. Imagine the voices that echoed through market squares, the colours woven into their bustling routines. Tales of triumph and struggle painted the city's every corner. Though centuries have passed, the silent sands veil evidence of feasts, rivalries, and shared hopes, an unbroken chain connecting us to these vanished worlds. Archaeologists, guided by clues both large and small, peel back times, shroud one artifact at a time. Pottery, tools, and fragments of inscriptions guide them, like breadcrumbs, through the maze of ancient streets. Every discovery tells a hidden story, perhaps of a craftsman's skill, a ruler's power, or a traveller's awe. As we venture deeper, we ask, who were these people? What dreams shaped their city beneath the relief? There are moments when shifting sands expose forgotten monument-huge stone columns rising up like phantoms from the earth. Architects hundreds of generations ago meticulously planned these cities, aligning avenues with the stars and carving intricate symbols that still puzzle scholars. These buried marvels hint at advanced, complex societies that valued beauty, order, and the mysteries of the heavens just as much as we do. Daily life in these ancient cities bristled with energy, from the clang of blacksmiths at dawn to the soft song of shepherds returning at dusk. Children played in shadowy courtyards as elders recited legends by the glow of oil lamps. Rituals and festivals carved rhythm into the year. Through careful excavation, we glimpse worn footprints in alleys and charred remains in kitchens, fragments piecing together a vanished, vibrant world. Trade fueled these cities, making them crossroads for ideas and innovation. Camels laden with salt and gold travelled across the land, their steady footfalls bridging distant empires. The city gates welcomed travelers, traders, scholars, mystics whose voices blended into a symphony of languages. In mysterious alleys, fortunes were made and secrets shared. These connections powered leaps in craft, writing, and architecture, the echoes of which still reach us today. Water was precious here, more valuable than gold. Ingenious systems channeled life-giving streams, turning barren soil into lush gardens. Wells and reservoirs drew crowds at sunrise places where strangers told stories and worries faded in friendly company. But when water faltered, cities struggled to endure. The delicate balance between abundance and scarcity decided whether a city would flourish for centuries or fade swiftly into memory. Religious rituals shaped city life as much as trade or architecture. Temples built from sun-baked bricks formed the heart of neighborhoods. People gathered to honor their gods, seeking guidance and comfort through shared ceremony. Priests interpreted omens in the sky, dancers moved in step with ancient drums, and offerings filled sacred courtyards. The spiritual pulse of these cities still lingers whispered in the winds that cross their silent ruins, Yet beneath the surface, dangers loomed enemy armies, shifting alliances, and the fickle moods of nature itself. Sandstorms sometimes rolled across the land, burying buildings in a single night. Drought gnawed at the city's edges, testing resilience and ingenuity. These trials shaped communities, fostering innovation or inspiring flight. As some faded, others adapted, leaving behind hints of their fate in walls swallowed by time. Today, as we walk among broken arches and wind-smoothed stones, it's hard not to wonder what the city's last sunset looked like. Did its people leave quietly or in sudden desperation? Their legacy endures through cryptic carvings and scattered treasures. Each discovery brings us closer to understanding their world and reminds us that beneath deserts and ruins, stories persist, waiting patiently for curious eyes to find them once more. Chapter 5. Monuments, Art and Memory. In a world sculpted by shifting sands, the people who once called this place home use stone as their canvas and voice. Around us rise ancient monoliths and vast rock faces etched with enigmatic symbols, traces of lives lived in communion with their environment. Each mark, each towering monument, whispers of hopes, fears, and beliefs now hidden beneath the surface of time. Under blue desert skies, ceremonial structures punctuate the horizon, some aligned to the stars, others to the mysterious faiths of forgotten ancestors. These formations were not built for shelter, but for spirits and for memory. They invite us to ponder why people labored for generations, stacking stones and carving figures that would outlast even their own identity. What stories did these silent monuments hope to preserve? As we move closer, the artistry etched into the stone walls becomes visible. Animals, hunters, dancers, and unknown symbols mingle together in tapestry. Each image holds meaning long lost, yet still radiates intent and emotion. The artists who created them may have vanished, but their visions remain silent, testimonies to an imagination shaped by the rhythms of the sun, wind, and endless desert expanse. Some monoliths stand alone, towering above the parched earth. Their shadows create cool sanctuaries amidst heat and glare. These lonely sentinels may have marked sacred sites, paths of ancestors, or served as meeting places for ritual and remembrance. Their purpose is an enigma, but their powerful presence continues to spark wonder and speculation among all who encounter them. Why invest such energy and skill into stones and sites that would survive their makers? It seems these monuments answered a universal human longing to endure, to connect with the unseen, to speak to future generations. The choice of stone ensured their messages would not be easily erased, carrying stories through centuries of silence and shifting desert winds. Not all art was monumental. Some was delicate, hidden in remote caves or beneath arched overhangs protected from sand and sun. Here, hands traced spirals and shapes that hint at ceremonies, mythologies, and cycles of nature. These sheltered tableaux reveal an intimate relationship with landscape, as if the earth itself participated in memory and ritual. Ceremonial structures, some now half drowned in sand, once buzzed with life and purpose. Offerings may have been left on raised altars, voices lifted in song and prayer to ancestral spirits or deities tied to water and fertile soil. each gathering united community in celebration, grief, and hope, weaving a culture deeply bound to the cycles of survival in a changing world. The desert silence intensifies the mystery surrounding these rock creations. We can only imagine the festivals, dances, or processions that filled these places with meaning. Did these people believe their carvings and stones provided protection, or perhaps guided souls beyond the visible world? The weight of absence now mingles with enduring echoes of ritual and memory. Over time, wind and sand have worn away colours and edges, but the spirit of creation lingers. Monuments and art act as bridges between the vanished people and ourselves. While we cannot fully translate their intentions, the persistence of their marks reveals a shared human impulse to weave meaning into landscape and to leave something behind for those who come after. As we leave these ancient galleries, we're left with more questions than answers. Each structure, each carving, is an invitation to reflect not just on what was lost, but on the ways people everywhere strive to be remembered. In the end, the monuments of the desert become silent storytellers, offering us clues about devotion, artistry, and the passage of time in this forgotten world. Chapter 6. Turning of the Sky. The world's rhythm began to change in ways too gentle for one lifetime to notice, yet relentless through the sweep of centuries. The rains, once faithful, started to falter, sometimes arriving early, sometimes not at all. Lakes that had glimmered under endless skies shrank in silence, their banks creeping inward. Life continued shifting, adapting while subtle threads of uncertainty wove their way through the days. The people of these ancient lands first met the shifting weather with resilient hearts. They studied the skies, searching for answers in wandering clouds and rare, heavy drops. Farmers tried new ways to coax life from drier fields, relying on memory and hope. Yet, as each generation handed the land to the next, the trees and grasses grew thinner. The whispers of change became real, etched in the quiet worry in their voices. Communities relied on water to connect villages and nurture their crops. Now, rivers shrank and wells grew deeper. Daily routines grew heavier with effort. Disagreements, once rare, flickered over whose turn it was to gather water. The sense of plenty, carried through so many seasons, began to fade. As each year passed, the hints of struggle grew more than passing hardship. They were the new reality everyone had to accept. With greenlands turning to dust, sacred groves and ancient orchards slowly disappeared. Elders spoke of the forests as if describing a distant dream. Stories of wild animals that once roamed freely became memories that children heard but never witnessed. Somehow, even traditions seemed lighter, as if the land's fading vitality dimmed the spirit of those who depended on it, binding everyone together with a shared ache for what was slipping away. As centuries stretched onward, the warnings became impossible to ignore. Using careful observation, people learned to read the language of a harsher world. Songs about calm rivers changed tone, recounting journeys to find distant water. Young and old alike walked further, carrying jugs under a harder sun. It seemed as if the horizon itself was shifting, pulling familiar things farther away, whispering that the world was not the same as it once was. Tension grew not just from drought, but from the uncertainty that settled in every household. Neighbourly gesture-sharing bread, exchanging fruit became rarer, tinged by worry that there might not be enough for the next day. Leaders gathered more frequently to discuss strategies, sometimes succeeding, sometimes clashing over how best to survive. Beneath the surface, mistrust began to quietly divide communities that had once thrived together. Some families abandoned ancestral homes in search of more forgiving lands, guided by rumours from wandering traders or distant relatives. These journeys were long and filled with uncertainty, shadowed by both hope and loss. Every new settlement meant carving a life from unfamiliar soil, while longing for vanished rivers and green places. All knew there was no guarantee of safety, only the longing to endure and remember what once was sacred. Through all this change, the sky was a constant companion, sometimes restless with thunderless clouds, sometimes merciless in its emptiness. Every gaze upward held silent questions about when or if the rains would return. Children tried to recall the way wet earth smelled, how it felt to splash in puddles. Adults repeated reassurances, but the old stories of abundance now felt far away, blurred by the relentless passage of dry years. Slowly, the once vibrant bonds within these ancient societies began to fray with the earth beneath their feet. Markets that had bustled with trade became hushed, as fewer goods could be grown or gathered. Festivals and joyful rituals that celebrated harvest and rain were held less often, overshadowed by worry. The people looked back as much as forward, trying to hold on to memories as the world they knew faded into the ever-expanding desert. In the turning of the sky, the fate of entire civilizations was quietly transformed. Persistence ebbed into sorrow, and resilience wore thin as resources dwindled. Yet, even as the landscape surrendered to the deepening sands, fragments of memory and culture endured stories and names, ancient paths and forgotten wells. These were the last gentle echoes of a world undone by a changing sky, whispered to the dusk as the shadows drew long. Chapter 7. Struggles in the dimming light. As the relentless sun bakes the shrinking rivers, communities gather along dusty banks, their faces lined with worry and determination. The old stories are whispered more often now, as if speaking them aloud could turn back time. Every morning brings a new challenge: thirst, vanishing wildlife, and the ache of traditions threatened by change. In this chapter we witness a world on the edge of transformation. Ancient customs once echoed in songs along cool, bustling riverbanks. Now those melodies soften as rivers run dry. Elders strive to teach the young the dances of their ancestors, though the rhythm is different on parched earth. Hope flickers in their eyes, but each day requires them to ask which rituals must be adapted and which can survive only as memories woven into stories told at dusk. The animals too become symbols of loss. Once, gazelles darted through brush and birds announced the coming rains. Now their absence echoes in silence, magnifying the uncertainty. Children search for tracks in the sand, a lesson in resilience and sometimes in grief. The relentless spread of desert challenges every living thing to adapt or vanish, creating a quiet struggle beneath the vast, indifferent sky. Families gather beneath the remaining shade trees, sharing slender meals and fragments of hope. Each gathering is a testament to their resolve, a chance to remember kinships as strong as river currents once were. Yet, tension grows as water becomes scarce and crops wither. The decisions made here whether to stay, to go, or to change a shape not only survival, but the very meaning of their shared past. Some look to the elders for guidance, hoping for wisdom distilled from a lifetime lived on shifting soil. Others turn quietly toward new ideas, modest wells dug with uncertain success, unfamiliar grains sown in fading fields. Each effort is a balance between respecting ancestors and forging a future that may look very different. The line between tradition and necessity blurs in the glare of dwindling daylight. Moonlit nights become moments of reflection, when the village breathes together and mourns what is slipping away. Songs are sung softer in the shadows, each note a thread binding past to present. Around flickering fires, elders recount times when water was plentiful and no one feared the sand's encroachment. The stories both comfort and haunt the listeners, a reminder that change can be both gradual and sudden. Hard choices linger in each household. Some contemplate leaving toward distant promises of water and green fields, venturing into the unknown with heavy hearts. Others vow to remain, tending the land no matter what, believing steadfastness might bring rain again. These decisions weigh heavily as families wrestle with the pull of home and the push of survival, wondering what price must be paid for holding on. Children, curious and resilient, play in the dust where grass once grew. They invent new games with whatever the land offers, their laughter occasionally mingling with the soft sighs of their parents. In their play, the spirit of adaptation reveals itself, energy and imagination forging new beginnings, even as old ways slowly fade. Through their eyes, hope glimmers, hinting at what the future could still hold. The community's rituals adapt with the changing environment. Celebrations become more modest, but even a shared meal or simple gathering is a victory against despair. The act of coming together offers strength, and every tradition preserved no matter how altered reminds them of their deep roots. In small acts of kindness and solidarity, the people find resolve to face yet another day of uncertainty. As this chapter closes, the fading light carries both sorrow and resilience. Lives here are shaped by harsh choices, daily acts of courage, and a stubborn will to remember what came before. Although the future is uncertain, their bonds endure, woven from memory, hope, and the shared struggle against the desert's advance. In the dimming light, their spirit remains, quietly defiant against forces that wish them to forget. Chapter 8. Exodus Across the Dunes. As hope dwindles, families gather their remaining belongings, preparing to leave the only home they have ever known. The sky is a pale expanse, the air heavy with silence. Each step east or north is driven by a desperate search for water or fertile ground. Behind them, winds carve new dunes, slowly erasing the traces of their lives, shrouding memories beneath layers of drifting sand. The migration becomes a quiet procession across endless dunes. Shadows of people and animals stretch over the pale sand as they travel at dawn and dusk to escape the scorching midday heat. Their journey is marked by uncertainty, but turning back is not an option. Every passing day, the familiar horizon fades, swallowed by the relentless sweep of the desert, urging them ever onward in search of survival and the hope of a new beginning. Whispers ripple through the group tales of oases far to the north, old legends promising flowing rivers and green valleys. The travellers sketch routes from memory, passing down stories of ancient paths beneath the stars. Hope flickers in these stories, fragile yet persistent. At night, the wind howls like distant voices, carrying warnings to press on. Beneath the blanket of darkness, the dunes shift and reshape, erasing what remains behind. Children ask about the homes they left, their questions lost in the gusts that sweep over the caravan. Parents speak softly of the fields that once thrived, of wells that now lie dry and abandoned. They promise their children a place where green things still grow. Each promise is a quiet anchor, something to hold on to as sand slips beneath their feet and the world they knew recedes further into memory. As dawn breaks, the old city vanishes further beneath the dunes. Roofs that once caught the morning sun become faint outlines, then nothing at all. The desert, patient and unyielding, claims every stone, every doorway. Travellers glance back but see only sand and unbroken sea where history is swallowed whole. In their hearts, they carry the knowledge of what once was, the echoes of lost laughter and thriving markets now silent forever. Water, once taken for granted, becomes a silent obsession. Each drop is counted, cautiously rationed among the group. Scouts search desperately for sign scraps of green, a hint of moisture beneath the surface. Hope rises and falls with every false lead. Still, they endure, pressing onward, driven by the shared memory of rivers that once flowed and the dream that such abundance might yet be found somewhere ahead. The journey binds the travellers together in unspoken solidarity. They share ancient songs around modest fires, weaving memories into melodies that linger even as the wind threatens to carry them away. The elders recall stories of harvests, festivals, and sunlit days before the sands took hold. For a moment, these stories brighten the night, a fragile light against the vast unknown pressing in from every side. Some stumble and falter. The journey is merciless. Yet others offer silent encouragement, a steady hand, a share of water. Survival depends on kindness and unity now more than ever. The harshness of the desert forces a new kind of community, one built not on places but on the bonds forged through adversity. Every successful step forward is counted as a quiet act of defiance against oblivion. Occasionally, travellers come upon remnants of earlier migrations, fragments of pottery, stone markers, faded cloth tangled among thorns. These artifacts stir both comfort and apprehension, reminders that others passed this way once, leaving behind their stories for the sand to claim. The sight deepens their resolve, infusing the weary with purpose, to endure, to remember, and to hope that their own journey will not be erased so easily. When night falls, a hush settles over the travellers. Stars stretch endlessly overhead, the only witnesses to their passage. Each family huddles together, dreaming of rivers and green fields, whispering the names of lost places to the listening dark. As sleep claims them, the echoes of their vanished city linger soft, persistent and eternal, embodied in the footsteps pressed into the shifting dunes, destined to remain until the desert claims even these. Chapter 9. Echoes Beneath the Sand. Centuries have passed since the vibrant worlds of ancient North Africa faded into myth. Now, under the restless desert winds, secrets begin to surface. Tiny shards of pottery, worn tools, bones, and traces of art emerge from beneath the sand-silent fragments, whispering of forgotten eras. Modern explorers and archaeologists delve into this mystery, determined to let these echoes reshape our understanding of long-lost civilizations. Each discovery is a window opened to a story nearly erased by time. As artifacts are carefully brushed free from layers of dust, questions bloom. Who made these objects? What were their dreams and fears? The Sahara, once so green and alive, now hides tales of ingenuity and loss below its arid surface. With every potsherd found, the silence of centuries is broken and another voice from the past begins to speak again. Bones tell their own chronicles of survival, migration, and adaptation. Scraps of ancient art carved into hidden stones reveal worlds both beautiful and harsh, reminders of lives full of wonder and struggle. The experts study even the smallest remnants, searching for clues about daily life in these once flourishing societies. Step by step, a vast and forgotten humanity flickers back to life amid the sand and shifting winds. As archaeologists kneel in the scorching desert, the landscape itself becomes a living puzzle. Dune by dune, they trace the outlines of crumbled walls and the faded prints of lost structures. Sometimes, grains of sand conceal intricate jewelry or tools shaped for tasks we may never fully understand. The silence is punctuated only by the echoes of possibility, as the past pushes gently but persistently toward being known once more. In quiet moments, under the broad desert sky, stories take shape from patterns in the soil. Where a cluster of bones lies beside sun-bleached pottery, the shadow of a forgotten community materializes. Artifacts hint at rituals carried out beneath vanished trees or by rivers long gone dry. Every object is a piece of a puzzle, inviting us to imagine the laughter, the labor, and the hopes of everyday people once at home in this green Sahara. The desert's secrets don't come easily. Sudden gusts of sand may bury evidence again just as quickly as it's revealed. Still, patience and careful observation allow fragments of ancient life to emerge. With every find, the line between legend and reality blurs a little more. Over time, the story of the lost Sahara becomes less a myth and more a history only shaped by sun, wind, and the enduring ingenuity of forgotten civilizations. Consider the archaeologist weighing a chipped fragment of a painted bowl in her hands. She feels the texture, sees the creative touch of an unknown artist, and wonders about the meals once shared from this simple vessel. Each artifact is not just an object, but a survivor, a memory etched across centuries. In these delicate moments, the living and the long vanished find quiet connection amid the sands of time. Echoes of laughter, ceremony, and even sorrow seem to pulse from these scattered remains. Piece by piece, a lost culture emerges. Tools for hunting and weaving, beads for adornment, symbols etched by steady hands. The Green Sahara returns in fleeting glimpses, its people no longer shadows but living presences. Old mysteries inspire new questions, and each answer deepens our curiosity about this shifting crossroad of human. With every expedition, archaeologists widen the tapestry of what we know. They catalogue not just possessions but possibilities, mapping how climate and culture intertwined beneath ancient suns. Sometimes, a seemingly insignificant objector, flint, a bead, a sliver of Bonadophine's entire theories about migration and adaptation. Sifting through golden sands, the story becomes more than evidence. It grows into a bridge connecting our present to the world that once was. Eventually, the sun sets over distant dunes, but the search never truly ends. Modern science, curiosity, and respect for those who came before drive us ever onward. Echoes beneath the sand continue to rise, inviting us all to listen. In piecing together these ancient puzzles, we rediscover the Green Sahara and the lives that flourished and faded there. Even as new sands settle, history's voice quietly lingers, waiting to be heard again. Chapter 10. Lessons of Change. As the story of the lost Sahara societies reaches its quiet conclusion, we pause to reflect on what their rise and fall truly means. The dust of ancient cities carries with it wisdom, whispered across centuries. Their triumphs and tragedies invite us to wonder, what can we learn about resilience and adaptation from people who flourished, then vanished as their world transformed? In every collapsed wall and faded petroglyph, there's a lesson waiting for us. The ancient people of the Sahara once mastered survival in a green, living landscape, only to witness their fortunes shift beneath powerful, relentless natural forces. Their achievements, remarkable as they were, could not withstand the immense change unfolding around them, reminding us of our own vulnerability to nature's quiet power. The endurance and ingenuity of these vanished cultures linger in the traces they left behind: grand rock art, remnants of irrigation channels, fragments of pottery worn by centuries of wind. Each artifact stands as a testament to human adaptability, a reminder that people have always sought ways to endure, even as the world itself slips and changes beneath their feet. Yet the fate of the ancient Sahara is not only a story of survival, but also of fragility. For all their wisdom and strength, these societies ultimately faced forces beyond their control. As the climate dried and rivers vanished, what once supported thriving communities became a silent, shifting sea of sand. The lesson is humbling. No civilization is immune to the environment's power. In looking back, the most profound lesson may be that change is inevitable and often arrives without warning. As the Sahara's ancient cities fell into silence, memories were carried forward by those who adapted, migrated, and rebuilt elsewhere. Their legacy is not just what disappeared, but what endured: resilience, hope, the unending struggle to belong in a changing world. From the scattered remains of ancient dwellings to faint trails that cross the desert, these silent witnesses invite reflection. Change shaped their destiny as it shapes ours. The resilience of forgotten peoples reminds us that adaptability is not merely a virtue, but a necessity. If history whispers anything clearly, it is to expect the unexpected and to prepare our hearts for transformation. The vulnerability of these early societies calls us to humility. Today, with all our knowledge and technology, we still face unpredictable forces: climate, time, the shifting earth. The ruins of Sahara cities quietly urge us to heed nature's lessons, valuing both human achievement and the delicate balance that makes civilization possible. Their story is a silent warning, echoing softly across millennia. Consider how the forgotten city's fate mirrors our own era's challenges. The slow but relentless transformation of the world-shaped destinies, just as modern change tests our adaptability. Ancient footprints sinking beneath sand remind us that progress is never guaranteed, and that perseverance is often our greatest legacy. The silence of buried cities asks us to remain vigilant and mindful. There is resilience in memory. Though their palaces and markets have disappeared, the spirit of innovation and adaptation lingers in the traditions of modern peoples who trace their roots to these lost cultures. Each lesson of adaptation echoes into the present, reminding us that even after the severest trials, new growth is possible so long as we remain open to change and learning from the past. So, as we ponder the Sahara's lost glory, we glimpse both a warning and a hope. Human accomplishment is beautiful, but fragile in the face of colossal change. And yet, the will to endure carved in stone and carried by the wind reminds us that, with humility and creativity, each generation can shape a future from the lessons buried beneath ancient sand. Chapter 11. The Enduring Spirit. Amongst the silent dunes and the fading traces of lost cities, a story continues to unfold. Though the architectures have vanished, ancient African societies left more than stone and sand behind. Their influence lingers in the melodies of language, the rhythms of daily life, and the unbroken traditions thriving in the heart of the continent. The spirit of these people endures even as their empires have faded away. The legacy of the vanished civilizations remains woven into the identity of those who now call the Sahara's fringe home. Ceremonies, rituals, and songs echo stories passed down through countless generations. These living traditions, often overlooked, offer glimpses of worlds that once bustled where the winds now whisper. In every market song and desert tale, the echoes of noble ancestors live on in the warmth of today's communities. Even as historians and seekers trace the faint paths left by long-lost kingdoms, the people themselves embody the greatest testament to survival. Their languages, some ancient and melodic, carry the wisdom of centuries. Oral histories, preserved in stories and legends, bridge the gap between present and past. In each spoken word, in every shared memory, ancient resilience finds new meaning among the Saharan dusk. The desert's silence is not emptiness, but a canvas for memory and imagination. Here, families gather at night to recount tales of pride and hardship, of migration and hope. Through these gatherings, the past is never quite gone. The laughter and mourning of ancestors blend with the voices of the living. In quiet strength, the spirit of vanished cities persists, waiting to be rediscovered in the sand's secret whispers. As researchers unearth fragments of pottery or ancient scripts, they also uncover truths rooted in living culture. Many desert dwellers today still practice skills honed by their forebearers' crafting tools, weaving fabrics, and reading the shifting signs of wind and sky. These everyday acts create a direct thread to their ancestors, preserving knowledge that once sustained entire civilizations beneath the Saharan sun. Some of the world's most mesmerizing music and poetry originate from this very lineage. Despite the hardships that forced migration and adaptation, creativity flourished. Unique instruments and soulful harmonies emerged from the interplay between people and their rugged land. In each performance, there's a sense that the past is not lost, but transforming into something beautiful within the hearts of those who remember. Many search for ruins with maps and science, but others find legacy beneath their own skin and in their grandmother's stories. Memory here is not just an academic pursuit, but a living bond. Elders share wisdom shaped by eras of change, tales of ancient kings, powerful queens, and resilient traders who crossed the boundless sands, leaving indelible prints on both land and spirit. The enduring spirit shines in young children learning traditional dances or reciting old proverbs under the desert stars. In these moments, history becomes alive, a legacy passed to new generations eager to explore their roots. No matter how many centuries pass, the desire to connect with the past persists, as vivid and necessary as water in the endless Sahara. The desert teaches patience and reverence. Those who travel or live here learn to listen, not only for survival, but for echoes of ancient wisdom hidden in silence. Every wind-stirred grain of sand can hold a secret, every horizon a memory. In honouring this patience, the Saharan people keep alive the resilience and hope that sustained those before them, ensuring their story never truly disappears. As we contemplate these vanished cities and the mysteries still buried beneath the dunes, let us remember, heritage is more than ruins or relics. It's a living, breathing force within the people who continue to survive, adapt, and dream in the desert's embrace. The enduring spirit of ancient Africa glows quietly, inviting us all to listen and reflect, even as the sands shift and time rolls on. Chapter 12. Horizons Unhidden. The sands of the Sahara stretch endlessly before us once more, but now we carry with us the echoes of forgotten cities and stories unearthed from beneath their shifting sheet. In this final chapter, we return to the modern desert, our perspective forever changed by what we have discovered beneath the surface and in the silent spaces between each grain of sand. The Sahara, once an enigma, now reveals itself as a place layered with memory and meaning. With every step across the sunlit dunes, we recall the hidden rivers, lost trade routes, and the spirits of ancient inhabitants. As the wind sweeps over the land, it whispers stories only found by those willing to look deeper, beyond appearances, and into the past that shapes today's desert. Though so much remains unseen by hurried eyes, each stone and hollow carries a secret. Only patient discovery unearths the power of forgotten history. In the modern world, the Sahara is not only a place of sand and sun, but a living tapestry woven from the ambitions, losses, and dreams of countless generations. Its true story lies beneath, hidden in layers waiting to be revealed. Standing at the edge of these ancient ruins, we reflect on the lessons learned throughout our journey. History's silence is never empty. It is filled with echoes for those patient enough to listen. The modern Sahara, shaped by both destruction and resilience, reminds us that the search for truth does not always yield easy answers, but rewards those who keep asking questions. The journey across hidden horizons has taught us that reality is rarely surface deep. Forgotten histories are not merely lost. They rest just beneath the dust, waiting. As explorers and listeners, our curiosity brings these stories back to light, breathing life into what was believed, silent and irrelevant, and challenging us to reconsider what we think we know about the world around us. Returning to the present, we see the Sahara as a place where memory and myth walk together. The lessons we gather here ripple outward, shaping not just our understanding of the desert, but of every landscape shaped by time and change. In seeking forgotten truths, we grow more aware of our own small part in the vast unfolding story of the earth. This chapter closes not upon certainty, but on a sense of wonder. The power of the Sahara lies not only in its harshness, but in the mystery it preserves. Some tales remain only in shadow, their answers drifting like sand guiding us to keep searching and listening, always aware that beneath every surface a deeper story might wait for discovery. We remember that the world's greatest secrets often lie where few choose to look. The Sahara, once a thriving cradle of civilization, becomes both a warning and invitation, reminding us to look beneath our own daily horizons for the silent witnesses of history that surround us everywhere, shaping our journey even when we do not notice. As dusk falls over the endless dunes, the sky painted in gold and violet, we hold close the stories we've gathered. They are markers on our own path, reminders that every place seen or unseen holds meaning shaped by time. The Sahara, layered with hidden tales, becomes a mirror for the mysteries that endure in every corner of our world. And so our journey ends for now, but the horizon remains unhidden, always beckoning. May we continue to search for what is buried beneath the obvious, to listen for stories yet untold, and to find wonder in memory and truth wherever they linger. The desert teaches patience, and curiosity gifts we now carry beyond its sands into all our days.